Duck, duck, goose found a pussy in a dollar bin. Guess you forgot your galana bin. Can't get loose, get your guts, got your tongue again. Rope burn on your hand, are you numb yet? I can go, I can get medication. Late at night, I can deal with everything. Every night, I can make it legal. And give it away. That's what you feel. Stood by your side through all of the lies, watching you cry for me. Get on your knees, apologize please. No, why don't you die for me? Call me the king, ruler of things. Give me that diamond ring. Get on your knees, apologize please. No, why don't you die for me? I can go, but I get medication. Late at night, I can deal with everything. Every night, I can make it legal. And give it away. That's what you feel.
Two tags, he is the hero. Yevny, oh dear, showing the back to Envision. Oh no, he received a shot, now he's a one shot. Oh dear, Yevny, can he survive? It's the $1 million question now, can he survive? He race. Oh my god.
Why is it?
Oh no, he found a whoopsie! He found a no! Oh no! So good afternoon. Well, it's pretty bright here, so so it's okay if I say good afternoon, but good evening all to this pre-tournament talk, and that was kind of set up a few earlier today, but hopefully we'll have a lot of good time talking about the situation with Professionals Tournament and Challengers Tournament on all three servers, basically Asia, EU, and NA servers. And this is an open forum, so feel free to join the owner chat if you haven't already, because we really want to hear your opinions about several teams, their different positions, and so on. And I mean, we can all the time Jenks clans. This is what I'm here about. So welcome all. We already have some people here already. I think all of you guys here are from the Asia server. And also would I say hello to Mangalingo and Mars Sultan. Don't know who you are, but maybe you're Pan Sultan. Maybe not. But at the moment we have 4 people. Hello. Just going to say hello to you all. Hello, Roblox, Seek and Destroy, and Enemy Accurate from King. So hello all.
Greetings.
Hello.
Greetings. Spring season, this season, hello Shogun, this season has been interesting. It's the first season where we only have 6 previous skill tournaments, and it has generated some very interesting teams for the challengers and professionals tournament. Personally, I think 8 previous skill tournaments is very it's very exhausting. 6 can be a good number, but then I don't know. I think it's an okay balance between having too many, having the right number of previous skill tournaments and having the right top 8 and then the teams for the challenges tournament. So I think 6 is fine for me, I would say. Some servers, I mean, they don't need 8. I think some of the servers like NA and also Asia server, the top 8 has been decided pretty much 1 or 2 previous skill tournaments ago. So the difference is going to be that the different server is the EU server, where we only know 2 clans through to the professionals tournament before the final stage, whereas the Asia and the NA servers, we already know what's going on already before the final stage. Right, so we're going to say hello to the old school dude as well. So right, I think we're going to begin with the Asia server, so that we don't keep you for too long, because I know that some of you guys are staying up very late for this stream probably. So I mean, let's actually look at the leaderboard. If I can, that's not the right leaderboard. For the Asia server. Okay. So if I can zoom in, yeah, I can zoom
with 3,000 with 37,000 cups in the first place is pleased.
Yes, I mean, this is the leaderboard for the Asia. So I think it's a really nice top 8 right there. I don't think particularly any clans that are in this top 8 would be of any surprise here. I mean, it's really sad on the last day to see EZG out of top 8. I mean, they have been playing pretty well, and they got screwed up pretty heavily by the seeding, actually, because they have a really low average win rate, but they have played really well, and I think ECG is the team to watch in the future seasons and challenges tournament. I believe they should be expecting to finish first place. I don't know, but other than that, I think the top 4 is wide open this season for the Asia server, contrary to the past last 2 seasons there, because I believe a lot of clans right here in the top 8 are top 4 have our top 4 material. I just don't know. I don't think any clans here are like are like immediately out of the question when we talk about top 4. So I don't know what you guys think about the professionals tournament.
Actually, ECG, right, is there are a few members from low.
Yeah.
You know, so they got the experience to like and the skills to like come up, but it's actually like they just only formed before the PYS, so I think that can explain like their lack of chemistry and also why they dropped out at the last day they losing.
Yeah,
on the first day of the PY6.
Yeah, I mean they lost to GV. I mean GV is a very strong team here. I mean, they went very close. It's just 1-2 loss. It was very small of a margin here, so it is very frustrating. But you can't really do anything about that when the seeding it's not really because of the not really entirely because of the win rate seeding, even if the wargaming chooses another type of seeding, and I think the same underlying problem would still be there. The main problem is the seeding hasn't been taking into account the performance during the spring season, and this has caused quite of a weird seeding on the last previous skill tournaments, and I hope really the new seeding would take into account performances during the spring season. But I mean, I think The favorite here to win outright the spring season for the Asian server, I don't know. Because I think you can make a case for pretty much every clan here. I don't know.
It was surprising though. Like how to say, the winter team and the spring team is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Like only the returning players for GV side is how to say, Berlin and another guy. The rest all they kind of like message everyone they could.
Yeah, but I think GV this season they performed better than the winter season during the previous Guild tournaments. Obviously, GV last season won it entirely, so we don't know if that's going to be the case for GV. But yes, I think a new team could potentially be a problem when you talk about the next stages. But we will see.
Yes.
But GV is certainly a contender once again for winning outright. I mean, we can also ask other guys like Enemy Accurate. What do you think?
I think that GV is a really good team just because even if they've gotten some of their members replaced, the new members are still, up to the skill level of the people that are being replaced. For example, when Professor left, Eugene Govinda started to join, GV with some of his friends from MIB. So that really created, a less of a, difference that was,
Right,
Oh,
you're
robot
breaking
voice.
up.
Robot
You're
voice
breaking
good.
up. Oops.
You wanna break up with me? Oh my god.
The enemy, you're
Alright.
breaking up a bit. Try again,
Yeah.
or you can rejoin the voice chat a little bit. Okay, let's see. Shogun says, his odds for the user will be endgame with oh, we can announce that later. But enemy accurate. Let's continue. What you were trying to say.
I would just end it with the say that I think that GV is also a very strong contender for top 4, and we cannot, leave them behind and say they're not going to make it to top 4.
Yeah, I think they are very. I mean, they are a strong contender, obviously, for top 4. If not winning the spring season, once again. But you will never know. I mean, Mango Lingo was here. A few minutes ago, so I'm not sure if he's still watching this stream, and hopefully he can join back this voice channel and he can say something about Asia Top 8. But I mean we're talking about GV. Feast. I mean, I think the biggest news for them probably would be Maddox going to E7, but Feast doesn't seem a tad weaker. They're actually, I think, they're still very strong, if not stronger. So I believe they are also the clan to watch, and I think they are expected once again to go into the grand finals. I would expect nothing less than that.
Yeah, I also expect that because I'm playing with them.
Mm-hmm. I see.
And then, but how to say, HLV is really our biggest thing. Like when we come up face to face with them, they kind of have the edge over us a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think right, we're gonna meet Cats on the first day. So, like how to say, may the best team win lah for that. But then group 2, right? This group 2, they go and make it how to say, a new kind of thing today, where the first and second, and then the 7th and the 8th in one group, and then the 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 in another group. That's interesting to see.
All right. Yeah, I say I think the seeding for the professionals tournament is quite weird. It's not the strongest, weakest principle. I think one major issue with that kind of seeding that IMC, I think they are drawing it randomly a little bit. But problem is, really, you cannot have the 7th and the 8th placing team going out at the same stage. So either one of them will finish higher than the 7th to the 8th place. So it's either ID or Cats in this context. Not entirely sure if that's the if that's a good idea, I would have preferred 1458 and 2367 as the seeding. That's straightly following the strongest weakest principle, but you never know. But at least it's still expected that the top 4 will still be in the top 4 stage finally. So I think Feast. I would expect them once again. I think they will coast through to the top 4, but I expect them once again to probably go into the grand finals and fight out the top spot. I mean, they won a couple of Pro Skill tournaments. Let's see if I can load all of them up.
We won 2. It's every 1-3.
1-3. Yeah, because I remember.
Yes.
Because the other team that has won a couple of previous skill tournaments will be HLV, and this season they looked a lot better than the previous ones. I mean, they are a lot more like they played a lot more
sharper.
Yeah, surely sharper, and it seems to have trained a lot for this season. So I think HLV won Asia server back in 2020 Blitz Asia Cup. So they are once again contenders for the entire thing, and I will expect nothing less than top 4. To be honest, I think they won 3 proof skill tournaments this season. So
yes,
so I think they should be able to once again. I mean, yes, Feast versus HLV. I think we will see that in Group 1, and then I think it's kind of a toss-up right there. But I expect both Feast and HLV to go through from their group, and I think the group that I think you all will be all watching would be the Group 2, where I think it will be ENTGB, RN, and E7. And I think it's a very good mix of clans right there. It's going to be very exciting to say the least. And I think all 4 clans here are quite similarly matched. So I think most of the exciting games will come from this group. I don't know, what do you guys think?
It just depends on how to say teams playing to their strengths and not playing to the enemy's strengths. You know,
right?
HLV is really aggressive.
Yep.
So my thinking would be to be more aggressive. You know what I mean? But
to
then
be more aggressive.
GV,
yeah.
Yes, hyper aggressive.
Right.
But then that's my thinking. But that's not what Feast have done. Feast have played smart, and also the focus firing is also one thing. So the team at this level, I think the focus firing, who focus fire better can also be the winner, especially when it comes to clans like GV.
Yeah, I agree
because
with you.
GV's focus firing is quite good.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I mean, equally, other teams, their focus fire is not a question at all. RN, I believe, is kind of the team which has improved a lot this season. They kind of tailed off in the last few Pro Skill tournaments, but I mean, when they showed up in the first few Pro Skill tournaments, oh my goodness me, they are very, very great, very, very strong. And I think, not only that, I think they have improved a lot is their personal skills. You can see on a couple of streams, RNs rarely bounce the shots, and I think that has helped them a lot this season, because previously the bounce shots is the main reason why RN couldn't really win other teams. I mean, they have strats which are working. They have made the right responses, but really those bounce shells, those ineffective shots, is the main reason why RN didn't really go through a notch. And I think they have done that this season. As a takeaway though, they sometimes might get a little bit nervous too, and that kind of made them a little bit less secure in terms of their strategies. But ENT versus RM would be a match that I would like to watch if it's the case for the group 2. But I don't know what you guys think. Enemy accurate. What do you think?
Oh, okay. So I definitely agree with your point of view on ENT versus RN. It's going to be definitely, a very exciting match to watch because
Yeah.
RN, as we have seen this season, is playing aggressively, even against Cats on Winter Malinovka, as we have seen when Jericho got Amarak. They were playing hella aggressive on both
Yes.
fronts. So I've
Yeah.
seen that their aggressive strats work. So they need to continue on doing that, and I think they will get the wins in the professionals as well.
But then, I mean, RN have gone a lot more defensive in the last few previous skill tournaments, and it didn't really work out for them. But I think they also figured out that they can't do aggressive strategies all the time, because as time progresses, teams would know how to defend and would know how to tackle such aggressive strats, because in my opinion, very aggressive strats are the strategies which are the most easily countered. So RN, I think they have a good idea, they have a good style with aggressiveness. But if I were to give them some advice, and if RN would like to go further than just further than that, than being just aggressive, I think Mercy has done it really well, is to be unpredictable and rush at the time that you do not believe that would be the case. Mercy did it exactly, and it was the main reason why they are amongst the strongest clan on the CIS server. So I think RN might be doing something similar, and if they could transcend into this territory, they can be a force to be reckoned with.
Can I add on
I
to
think-
that?
Oh,
On enemy, you go on first.
okay.
I think Rotanova relates to Aqua from last season a lot. They're been playing very aggressive at first, but now they're playing, their gameplay evolved into being a bit passive. So I think they need to find a, perfect balance between their aggressiveness and their, passiveness, and then they could be, team which would be very successful for the top 4 candidates.
Yeah. Or what we were seeing from RN is that they're trying different types of strategies, and they will assess what fits them the most, and then they will use the strategies at different times, which are the best, I think. So I think we also have Chanston Virgil in the chat. So hello there.
Hello.
Hello. What do you think about the Asia server this season?
Asia server overall, I think this season is a lot more interesting. Like considering that the old teams like RN, and of course the new teams like ENT, like they recently been created. I think these two teams would be the most interesting teams for this season that I'm looking forward to. But overall, I've seen RN like playing a lot, as that enemy accurate said that they're playing hella aggressive, like compared to last season. It's a completely different play style. Like all of their pushes are in sync. The timings are kind of right, like right on point. They know what they are doing. They know what they are. I mean, where they are pushing, when they pushing. These are the things that they changed over. 2 months period between the winter season and the spring season.
Yeah, I think you. I think that's a very fair point. I think RN. I think they haven't won a single season on the Asia server. So could this be their season? I would think it could be their season, but I think they just need to find the right balance, and probably when they have more experience, it will help them. I think they are on their way to become one of the best teams on the Asia server, and I think if a good result this season would be very, very helpful.
Of course.
And also if they could like just retain their players, because like in winter season was like a pretty new team, RN team.
Yeah.
And if they can retain their players till autumn season this year, then then that will really be one of the best RN teams.
Yep, I agree. On the other hand, I mean, we talk about Feast, we talk about HLV, GB, and we didn't talk about ENT, which I think also improved quite a lot this season. I mean, last season they were new to this compared to the Clan Wars, and they've done fairly well. This season, they have also performed quite well as well. I think they have won one previous skill tournament, and I think that was an important one. They've beaten Feast quite convincingly, and I remember that last match on Hailers. It was probably one of the best games I've ever seen on the Asia server this season. So if ENT continue to perform like this, and I think if people start to talk more in their voice chat, I think ENT also, I don't know what to say, but certainly top 4 is not an issue for them.
See, right, last season, if I think they said that ENT used kind of used the seeding to their advantage, and then there were some memes about that. But this season, I don't think they really used the reroll accounts to boost their seeding. So I would say this season ENT are stronger, really, really strong.
I mean, actually, last season they also have to beat some clans on their way to be in the top 8. I mean, they are not at the periphery of the top 8 last season. They beat some really good clans on the way as well. So not necessarily the seeding that they have really manipulated to top 8 actually, because when we talk about that, I mean, this season particularly on some servers, one particular clan got heavily memed for trying really hard by rigging by with quotation marks rigging the seeding, and they couldn't even finish top 16. Another clan did the exact same thing, didn't manage to get into top 16 in the end, and I can safely say that the Asia server, it's quite a different server than, let's say, CIS and the EU server. There is
because it's smaller.
It's smaller, and there is a very high percentage of teams which are very good. So chances are you have to play really well in order to go past the group stage quarterfinals. And you seldom see like very, I don't know how to put it in a better way, but you seldom see pop teams in the group stage quarterfinals, if that's the right term for that. So I would say you have to be really good in order to go past the group stage quarterfinals, and this is something that I think Asia server teams, if they want to be in the top 16, I think this is what they have to do at least.
I know it doesn't affect like the matchmaking and stuff like that that much, but like literally a single clan, like I don't want to name it, but they have like a player with 100% with only one battle whatsoever, no ratings battle. I don't know how did he get to the like tournament team, but he has literally one battle in a tier 1, and he's still getting into the like tier 10 tournaments. That shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, that shouldn't be happening, but you can just buy a tier 10 tank and then you can get your way in. And that's something that
doesn't even have that.
I think it doesn't show in the stats page when you have the tank, but you didn't play a single match on it, I think, if I remember correctly. I think that's the case. So it doesn't show all the tanks that the player has or has had, because some of the tanks the player does not play one game in it in any game mode. So that could happen, and you can get your way into that team without showing that you have a tier 10 tank publicly.
That's right.
Yeah. So and it doesn't help when I think there are surprise containers like or tier 10
Oh.
collector premium containers like right before the start of the previous skill tournaments early on, so that didn't help at all.
Honestly, I think they should just put some restrictions for these kind of tournaments at least, because not in Asia, but like in EU especially, like some restrictions like 500 battles, like in pub battles, regular battles. It should be like something like that. But as we can see, there is no changes whatsoever from winter season to spring season from wargaming.
Yeah,
that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, that was that kind of loophole was investigated. No, not the right word for that, but was looked into a lot by a lot of teams, especially on the EU server. And frankly speaking, it didn't really. Well, I mean, to put it in another way, it caused a lot of frustration amongst a lot of different teams, and I really hope Wargaming is going to change their seeding sooner rather than later, because I think that has become an urgent issue that needs to be fixed, and I really hope that is going to happen. But despite that, I think it's not just about that. There are other issues that I think would also need to be addressed, especially after the supposed seeding fix. But let's go back to the topic. We talked about E7. I have not seen a lot of E7 games to jump into conclusion, but I think they are still a team that needs some that needs to play together for some time, needs to gel more together for some time. I don't think this season would be their season though. Maybe in the upcoming seasons, but I think they have the right players. If the players stay in their clan, they can further develop, and I think they can become a really good clan. But I do not think this is their season just yet. I don't know. What do you guys think?
They could be a surprise, a dark horse, as you say.
What?
Yes, dark horse.
Mm-hmm.
Like how to say? They've been training like since the end of PYS 6. They've been training like crazy. I think I've seen them almost every day.
I see.
So, yeah.
That could change a lot though, but that could also overly exhaust some of the guys scouts there. So hopefully that the fatigue won't become a part of the team, because I think they have some really good players. I think they just need to gel more. I think this is just what I think they just need to do, and
they need to be comfortable with each other.
Yeah, I think in terms of experience, a lot of members there have great a lot of experience. I mean, Maddox is one of them, so they just probably want to gel together, maybe be a lot more fluent in the game in terms of like putting shells in and so on. But I think E7, they have the right players. I hope the extra training they have would put them in a good position, a position that they will be proud of. But I mean, they are in a tough group, so we'll have to see.
Definitely tough.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? Like Enemy Accurate and Chancellor Worship. I'm gonna say hello to Yori12 and Dadufuri, who is secretly in the chat as well.
Hello,
and about E7.
Yes, E7.
I think E7 is one of those kind of teams that they are map dependent. You see what I mean? Like in some of the maps, they perform like so good, but in some of the map, like I think they don't have the right idea for that map. Like they have the mechanical skill. Like all of the players are like a lot of tournament experience, and they're all good players. But when it comes to like some of the maps, they're kind of lacking. in the sweats and stuff like that from the
Right.
streams, at least that I saw. But
Mm,
they are like definitely one of the strongest team, in top 8 at least.
mm-hmm.
And I think they might be like top 3 contenders in this season because I'm not sure about like GB performing so good in this season because they have some of I mean they made the team like in the last seconds, but that's
Mm-hmm.
GV, who knows.
Yeah, who knows? Well, what do you think, Enemy Accurate?
Um, from my experience, I have seen E7 play a lot because
Right.
we were basically allies with the X Clan GSM.
Right.
So I would say that they are very, having very good mechanical skills.
Yeah.
But I guess compared to the other top 8 teams, sometimes they are, having the same issue as described by, Tungsten Virtual.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely think that they would finish in the top 4 because they have an experienced caller Maddox with them as well.
Yeah.
So right now we could just only wish them good luck for the future.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also, this group 2, ENT and E7, they only differ by around 700 cups. So if that's not group of death, I don't know what is group of death, because that's definitely going to shed a lot of tears. Because I don't think any clan here deserves to be exiting as a 7 to 8 placing team. I don't think that would be fair for any clan here. But anyway, finally we have ID and Cat. So ID snatched that top 8 spot at the very last
On
previous
the
skill
last
tournaments
day.
on the last day. They weren't very enlightening, to say the least, this season. And I think some of the players went to military service, if I remember correctly. And I think these players hurt quite a lot for ID, and we couldn't really see the eminence in the past few seasons of ID. They were struggling until probably the last previous skill tournaments, where well, I mean they were also very close against DCGTB. I don't think anyone streamed that. I would have loved to stream that if I had time, but they have to do a lot as well. But I think Campen is going to make it work probably. I have faith in him. I think a lot of people have faith in him, so maybe.
Yes, he's the he's the person you want to be friends with, the cool kid, want to be friends with.
Right.
But then he rejects you. Not talking from experience though.
Mm-hmm.
No,
But
I
yeah.
was joking. Wait, I'm talking too much. Continue, please. Sorry.
No, I was saying ID. Maybe they were saving the strats or maybe something for the professionals tournament. Maybe we'll see a completely different ID. But at the moment, ID they have to be a lot better than what they were in previous skill tournaments.
But they got HLV on the first day.
Yeah.
And HLV won. Will show no quarters.
Yeah, but also I mean they beat DTG 2-1 twice, so I was quite worried because like DTG is a clan that well, it's a strong clan, but if we are talking about the level of ID, they should be able to win somewhat comfortably. And not to throw shade on DTG, because DTG is also another clan that I might be talking about in very very soon. But ID is they just need to perform a lot better, and they are blessed being in a group that is being in this group, because the other group is going to be a slaughter it's going to be a slaughterhouse, but this one is going to be somewhat more forgivable in a sense.
definitely.
I mean,
Yeah.
we got the top two versus the bottom two. So I think to each their own. Which group is the group of that?
I think the group 2 is the group of death. The ENT, GVR, and E7. They have very similar number of clubs, so definitely group of death for me. This one, not quite so. I think you can make out the top two very clearly here, but the other group it can be any team.
Then wouldn't that mean the group two is more even instead of being a group of that?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is basically what group of death is, because
Oh
group of
yes.
death has it means that the group is very evenly matched, and then you just have the teams just you never know who is going to go through or not, and this is what it means by group of death. And I feel sorry for whichever team is going to go up on the first in the lower bracket first round. They definitely do not deserve to be ranked 7th to 8th in this group. But then, well, wargaming seeding is a bit weird this season, so well, we can only complain about that after this season to strictly follow the strongest weakest principle. But I wish all the best for the teams. Yeah, this one. Cats, on the other hand, also quite worried about them. I think they have been through some up and downs, but I think in general they are really they are not as good as they were in the winter season, and genuinely a bit worried whether I don't know. I'm quite worried about them. I don't know what you guys think.
Well, how about us, Justin?
Cats.
Justin to
Me?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, cats. I don't know. Like, during the first two PYS, like they were performing great. They were like beating some of the stronger clans. But I think like after some time, like they kind of meme around and lose their motivation to like perform as good. So they kind of like meme around in POS 5 or no POS 4 and 5, and because of that, like they were underperforming kind of.
Yeah, I
But
think I agree with you. They are underperforming.
But other than that, cats like all of them are good players. They have the potential, but I think they are kind of out of sync sometimes. Like they don't. I kind of think they don't understand each other's sometimes. But over time, if they practice with each other, they can like improve that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think you will see some really great matches on cats. Maybe I will tell Wargaming to put me in the group too. We'll see, because I really want to follow that group with so many exciting games. But we will see which group Wargaming is going to put me in. But I suppose
hopefully they give like you and Fujit group 1 and you group 2.
We will see, because probably there will be some really exciting matches there. And then next we have the Challengers tournament for the Asia server. Some clans here, I think you're seeing here BB and DCG to be tied in the same number of cups. Wargaming did not hold a last chance tournament. They used the CP ratio to decide DCG to be the final team in the Challengers tournament, and that knocked BB out. And I feel kind of sorry for BB because they were in the top 16 for pretty much the entire Proof of Skill tournaments. They only got knocked out because Cam 1 went through to the final stage on the last Proof of Skill tournaments, and that cursed BB. And what follows after is it's going to be something that you can find on quite some servers. So not going to talk more about that.
But then BB didn't register the last day one.
I think they played the last proof of skill tournaments. I don't think, and if you do not play in any game, if in a proof of skill tournament, you will not be given cups. Yep. So they have to play all the proof of skill tournaments in order to at least one match, in order to get the number of cups. And otherwise they won't be at the same number of cups as DCGTB. And I think they will be regretting losing to EGS, which finally finished 19th, actually. I'm not sure about the EGS team. I mean, I don't have their clan logo even, so it's... yeah, I think they will be regretting that. Otherwise, I think almost all the time they are directly qualified to the group stage quarterfinals. And I'm going to say quite a lot of teams that have caught my attention, ECG being one of them. I think they just did not really make it to the last previous skill tournaments. Otherwise, I believe ECG would have been in the top 8 instead of one of the two teams just around 1,000 cups ahead of ECG. But you will never know. But then PGMT surprised me a lot. They are quite good this season, and I heard that they do not have all the players there, so that is kind of a achievement, I would say. In 10th place, really good. There, on the other hand, was struggling a lot this season, and I think they also lost some players. So I think I don't think they're going to coast through quite easily in the Challengers tournament. They will have to fight for it. And DTG was a big surprise, I must say. I think not sure how they went through to the next stage at the final proof of skill tournaments, but I think they won a really good team. So that is an achievement right there as well. Cam 1, they were also struggling until the last proof of skill tournament, and I think once again they cannot be underestimated. And then Kane, I think just only one proof of skill tournament, and then they were suffering from roommate seeding, obviously. So maybe this is a chance for them to shine. I think they were in the 12th place last time, if I remember correctly, or 11th place. I can't remember. But hopefully this season, maybe they are here to win all. NQE7 is second team of E7, and I per se, maybe it's different, but have really yet to see how they are performing. And DCGTB, I think they are cursed by the seeding as well, but they are getting better and better. So DCGTB, I think they would not finish last.
GCGTB, right? It's a really interesting plan.
Yeah.
It's actually started by Frozen from ID.
Yeah.
So what he's saying is he wanted to go and take all the Korean players who weren't didn't have any shiny stats, and then form a team, form a clan, and then they go train together, and then that's why they've been doing so well. You know, so it's like commendable what they've been doing.
Yeah, but they haven't actually passed through one of the previous skill, the final stage. They haven't. They are the only team across all servers to qualify to the Challengers tournament without getting into the final stage. I think that just shows that the Asia server just does not have enough pop teams. And yeah, and that's very sad indeed, because I think if we talk about top 8 worthy teams, there are quite a number of teams at the same number as maybe the NA server and even the EU server. But when we talk about pop teams, very, very bad number there. So hopefully in the future seasons we'll see more pop teams playing in this previous skill tournaments, because really the current format for the previous skill tournaments is not working for the Asia server because of the size. Hopefully
Yes.
we'll see Wargaming changing that, because I
Hopefully.
believe it can be a lot more
No,
competitive in a different format.
Wargaming won't change it.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
afraid they
A
won't, but
solution
will be
for that
really
could
good
be
then.
for Wargaming to propose a group 3 for Asia server, as in the PYS1. There was one group 3 for PYS1 in spring
That's
season.
because there are more than 32 teams
Yeah,
in
so
Yeah.
first review.
that's the only way the seeding could get better for some of the teams that could
Mhm.
potentially make to the top 8 as well.
Right.
Like Wargaming, I think right they're using what they are doing on the Russian server and also the EU server, and
Yeah.
then thinking they can do it on the Asia and NA server.
Yeah, it doesn't really work. I think equity would be the better will be the better philosophy here when we talk about tournament format, especially previous skill tournaments, because one format might work on one server, it might not work that well on another server. So I hope Wargaming will change that. But if we talk about challenges too, what do you guys think? Which clan would come on top?
You have a few people from King in the voice chat.
Yes. So you guys can say King if you're from King as well, actually.
So DKM, you
For
wanna
me,
go?
Hey, go for it.
I don't think I should make a comment on this.
Okay, no, lie down. Okay.
I
How
don't
about
think none of us should make a comment on King.
right? How about Roblox? What do you think?
me, King will always be in my heart, so I would like them to do well.
Mm-hmm.
He's too biased to even
Yeah.
be able to also give an opinion.
Hey,
I mean, I think ECG is here to take it. Unless some teams below ECG is going to do very, very well. Because I think there is a gap between the ninth place and the team and the 10th place.
Yeah,
But then the
pretty big
10th
gap
place, yeah, quite a big gap there. But the 10th place and lower, I think the teams are relatively closely matched. So I think Challengers tournament is going to be quite competitive. But if we only talk about who is going to win outright, then I think ECG will have a lot of expectations to fulfill.
That's
I
why we
mean,
need you, Jing.
there's also other teams on the 8th to 16th place that have a lot of potential, but just have been underperforming, which is quite unexpected. There's also another huge gap between the 6th and the 7th place of around like 5,000 points.
Oh yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, that's
Pretty
true.
surprising, considering
Mm.
teams in the top 8 usually go head to head, and
Yeah.
the skill level is not usually there's not usually a big gap in the skill level between these teams.
Mhm.
But this is pretty surprising.
Well, I mean, as I say, I think maybe these clients there will start to perform a lot better, but it also didn't help when most of these teams not qualified to the next stage. A majority of the next stage of the previous skill tournaments, they didn't qualify to the next stage because there are only 8 teams for 5 of the previous skill tournaments. In the final stage, and I really hope Wargaming is going to change the format. I want more teams in the final stage, not just 8, because really it's just it makes more sense to watch the first day rather than the final and the second day, which I think Wargaming wants us to watch the second day instead. And
Honestly, there's a lot of things that I think need to be adjusted with the way Wargaming holds its tournaments.
yeah.
Even if it's just, for example, the fact that Asia server has a lot less teams, it's not working out so great on EU neither.
EU is another problem. It's not because of the number of teams or number of pop teams. It's more to do with the seeding. But Asia server is to do with the number of pop teams. I think it cannot be solved with a better seeding. With better seeding, it has to be solved through a new tournament format.
Plus, we're going to need to adapt the rules because this is something that's what like we see teams get better at, which is just make the most of the rules that wargaming sets up, and try to always be in the gray area.
Yeah.
So it's kind of abusing the rules, but it's not infringing on the rules, and wargaming can't technically do anything about it.
Well, unless they invoke the rule about sporting conduct, where it's at their discretion.
That's something I wish they did more often. Because
yeah, but it can be a can of worms though. So I think wargaming has to proceed this very, very carefully. But sometimes I think there is a good case to make to use that rule. I think.
I mean, definitely, it's something that can be abused. Like the teams that actually play in these tournaments are not going to be happy if wargaming just dishes out these punishments willy-nilly. But I'm assuming that if wargaming has to actually invoke that rule and punish some certain clans or teams, it would be not unwarranted at all.
Right. Okay, so before we wrap up the Asia server, we have Yori12, Dadil for real, and Jake in the chats. I think all of you guys are not Asia server players, but I think you have been watching my stream, if not have been watching Fuji's stream, if not my streams, and you should be knowing something about Asia server. So what do you guys think? Which clan do you think will be the contenders for this season?
Well, I haven't watched Asia this season.
Fair enough. How about the deal for you? Jake?
I mean, for me, I think any of the sort of top 6 could, like, on a good day, could beat any of the others. So I think Asia is pretty. From what I've seen, I think it could be pretty open. But then I'm still thinking maybe Feast will probably
take it,
overcome everyone else.
How about
they've just looked the strongest to me.
How about you, the deal for you?
I'm surprised at how well Feast is doing, to be honest.
Yeah.
HLV looks pretty solid and strong. The bottom part of the top 8 is I don't know how to say it. It's gonna be interesting, I guess.
That's a nice way to put it.
We hope to see someone following the challenges tournament, hopefully. I think at the moment we might have 5 people following the professional, so if one of us can follow challenges, I think that would be good indeed. Because I would say, I think there is an obvious front runner there, but I think other than that front runner, the other teams are very closely matched, so I think you will be in for some very exciting matches too. So hopefully someone's going to stream challenges tournament for the Asia server. Although I'll be following the professionals tournament. So I think some people watching this, they want to listen. They want to know more about the EU server. So thank you all who've participated in this discussion about the Asia server. And I think, yes, I agree. Top 6 will be the top 6 teams. I think they are closely matched, and I think you can make a case for any one of them to take home the title of this season. So okay, let's move on to the EU server, and let's change the table for a little bit, because the EU server, well, I don't know about the CIS server, but if we take CIS server out of the equation for a moment, EU server is the only server where we only know 2 teams that have already qualified to the professionals tournament before the final stage of the final previous skill tournament. Before the final stage, the clans in the 3rd place all the way down, they are not secured. They have not secured a spot in the professionals tournament. So there hasn't been a lot of changes after that day, but we were seeing three teams fighting for two spots in the end: Red T, AP, and Redcom. And I was so lucky to be able to follow Red T versus Redcom on that day, because it could have been followed by other streamers, but Wargaming decided that I should be following them. So thank you, Wargaming, for allocating me to the most important match of this season on the EU server. But yeah, if we talk about the best, if we talk about the clans currently in the top 8, because Shock is here, well, even if he's not here, I'm going to say Endgame it's a favorite. It's obviously a favorite to win the entire thing. I think the only team closest to competing, well, I'm not saying the only team, but yeah, Serenity, BPS, and Loka would be the challengers to Endgame's throne. Maybe the other BPS team in the 5th place as well. But other than that, Endgame looks very, very dominant at the moment. Even more dominant than the winter season. That is to my surprise, actually. And I hope some EU people, EU players, will join the owner chat. If you haven't joined my server already, I think the link is in the description below. Join the owner voice channel, and we can talk together about the EU server. Hopefully Seek is still watching, so I can talk with you. Right, so yes, if you're watching this, if you're listening to me speaking rubbish, go ahead and join my server. I think I'm going to post my server link in the chat very soon, and then let's talk about the EU server, because that's the server that I think lots of people are watching, the most people are watching. So let's get it here. All right. Okay, so I'm going to begin first. Yeah, as I say, Endgame just looks so dominant this season. I think they are very technically skilled, as always. Has the best players in the server. A couple of games actually. It's really the individual brilliance which stands apart from the rest of the teams. They are really skilled, and they really make use of every shot they have, and they really know how to drive their tank, per se, you know. Shielding, bouncing shots. So they are not afraid to play in without a numerical advantage. In fact, if the numbers are even, they have the advantage, not the other team. So Endgame, they have this kind of innate advantage, and the strategies, I think they are, in most of the cases, very strong, robust, and the strategies that I would be expecting from the best team in the server. So I think the only thing you could beat Endgame would be from the tactical standpoint. And some clans did that from time to time, like Loka. I think you saw that video, which I uploaded earlier, which was a very good game from Loka. But apart from that, really, Endgame, I think this is the season to lose. And I expect them to really go all the way through to the end and really win it. I think it's as dominant as Rain back in 2020 Blitz NA Cup. I know I'm jinxing Endgame right here, but I don't care. Because if you get jinxed by me, then you really need to reflect about upon yourselves. You know. So what do? So we have Bai and also Jake here. So and also the deal for you. So who wants to go first?
I mean, and Endgame are just looking super, super strong at the moment, and I think they've lost a few games, but I think the way to beat Endgame is to not rely on your own skill, but just to rely on your sort of tactics and whole teamwork together. Because I don't think if you're sort of up against in a 1v1 against an Endgame player, you're really, even if you are such a good player, that they just have that sort of strength in their players, that
composure. They are very experienced at a very high level, so I think they will be the team that is the least nervous. I mean, I think I said about one other team which is not nervous at all. I can't remember which team. I have to go back to my script. But I don't know. I have to check which team I put down as. I think it's BPS, if I remember correctly. Not the Gravitas team, but the other BPS, which doesn't seem to be under pressure at all. And
no, they just look so composed, I think. Yeah.
Endgame, I think they won 5 out of 6 Proof of Skill tournaments this season, I believe. Or was it 4? 4.
I think it was 4. But even so, 4 is so impressive.
It's very impressive indeed.
Especially when it is single elimination like this, and there's sort of
so
few chances to mess up, really.
Yeah, they are also the only team other than Gucci Gang team on the CIS server to attain more than 40,000 cups in 6 Proof of Skill tournaments. Not even Rain can do that. So that is a big achievement. I mean, on such a competitive server like the EU server, Endgame is able to dominate you all. So I really can't see any way apart from really themselves to lose. I think the biggest enemy they have is themselves. It's not any clan, in my opinion. Really, they have themselves to lose. If they lose themselves, then really, it's not good.
No, I think it's definitely Endgames to lose this season. And if it does come down to it, I think maybe a lucky Amorak here and there, and maybe just some other team getting some juicy RNG might overcome Endgame's sort of just individual skill level. But I think from a sort of skill standpoint, Endgame are just standing head and shoulders over everyone else at the moment.
True. So hello to Thruster, hello to ID07, and hello to, I'm going to say hello to Chocolate once again. Hello to People Devil, hello to Falca, hello to any more people. Vicky, hello, Orca Fan, hello to Anya, hello to Spitfires as well. So great to see you all. I hope some of you would join us for the discussion. Really, let's not keep on talking Endgame for a long time. The longer I talk, the bigger possibility I will jinx them. So, I mean, Chocolate said they won 4 Proof of Skill tournaments without using strats, and I think that's a kind of a tendency for a lot of the really strong teams now. Is that they really don't use any initial strats. And they really rely on their reactionary movement coming into the late game phases, and I think that is very important. And that is because you really want to you really want to know what to do in what kind of situation. If you know what to do, then you can win most of your games. And I think this meta really, I think most of the time, most of the metas, really the reactionary gameplay is what wins you the games. Right. So apart from that, Endgame. I don't know, I believe if they start using strategies, I think they might be weaker. So I would rather to have them not use any strats at all and keep on doing what they are, because they are so dominant at the moment. But other than that, Serenity in the second place. I think if I were to say between Serenity, BPS and Loka, I think it would be hard to decide. But Serenity has the biggest chance to stand against Endgame, in my opinion. And that's not because I'm influenced by Nicolade about that passage about Spitfires. I mean, Spitfires is such a wonderful player, but it's more than just Spitfires, but also really the cohesion of this as a team. And really, I think I can give you one example of how good Serenity is. Not really because they started really well, but their mentality is sometimes really really phenomenal. The game I was talking about would be the second game on Albenstadt against APA. That game, during the mid game phases, you would probably think Serenity is going to lose it, but really I think it's that determination and willpower that made them win that game out of the impossibility that was imposed at that moment in time. So Serenity really that kind of mentality is not something I see often, and that could be the difference here. I think they are strategically strong. They have really good players, but really think is also I think their calling is really fabulous. Coordination is fabulous. I mean, they can't win in that game. I was saying they would not be able to win if not for the perfect communication I've seen in a really long time. So Serenity, I think, is a team to watch. We'll talk about A1N1 later because Thruster asked where the players from A1N1 come from, but yeah, it's yeah, but I'm going to ask Bai, because you're in the chat. What do you think about Endgame and Serenity? Okay, he doesn't want to talk. Maybe we'll go back to Jake. About Serenity.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're looking very smooth. I'd say they're definitely probably. I mean, I think the cups are maybe a bit misleading if you just say looking at the tournament table. I wouldn't say sort of the difference between maybe. I mean, Endgame I'd say are definitely on top, but I'd say it isn't sort of as big a difference as maybe the cups would suggest between Endgame and Serenity. Because if you're looking at that difference, what, like 3,500-ish? I mean, you'd think, oh, Endgame are heads and shoulders above everyone else. But I'd say on a good day with good maps and good strats, I'd say Serenity could definitely beat Endgame if they're all working together very smoothly. And also, I think as well, sort of the top four are all looking very, very strong this season. And you can put a case forward for I'd say any of the top four beating sort of the others if they're just working really well together, having a really good day, good spirits. I'd say sort of maybe some of the others could maybe pull off a shock surprise as well, but I think it'll be between the top four for the sort of the top places, especially I think sort of the finals.
The finals. Well, I mean, let's ask the dude for real for a moment about Endgame and Serenity. What do you think about these teams? Okay. Well, I mean, well, okay. Well, let's actually move on. But then, if you're still watching this stream and if you want to join us for the discussion, please don't hesitate to join my server. The link, you just have to scroll a little bit in the chat and also in the description. Hopefully you see more people chatting about the EU server, because I think this is the most followed server apart from the CI server, so hopefully we have more people talking about this EU server. I think it's also very competitive as well. Not just the top 4, top 8 equally are very competitive. Well, I mean, the next clan I'm going to talk about BPS, the Gravitas team, in the third place. Inconsistency would be sometimes that I would be having a comment on in this team, but sometimes they can play really well. There are some games which I do not think they have deployed a particular strategy, but really their reactionary gameplay is what wins them the game. So pretty similar to Endgame. If they are on a good day and if their responses are spot on, they could be a very hard team to beat. Especially when you talk about which players are in the team. Very experienced players are in this team, and Zerd is also calling. And I mean, Zerd is like one of the two legendary callers on this server, so you cannot underestimate BPS at all. And they are very close with Serenity, Luca, and the level. I think BPS, they can absolutely get into top 2. And I think they will mount a good challenge against Endgame. But I think there is still a distance away, and I think that distance would be just their consistency. And if they had that, I think really BPS. I think they will be really good to watch. What do you think? What do you guys think?
I mean, from my standpoint, like BPS, I think have been. I don't know if it's maybe some of their strats on some of their maps, but I think just some of the games that I've seen them play have also been against sort of some of the other top clans. So I don't know if it's just sometimes maybe their strats aren't quite as good as the other clans ones, but I'm not trying to put any disrespect on them at all. They're still far and above what most 90% of clans could do. But yeah, I don't know if it's maybe just sometimes maybe they're sort of certain maps they're not quite as efficient on as others, and that might be their downfall if just the maps don't really go in their favor. But yeah, I mean overall I think they're definitely a strong contender, and if they get good map selection, I could see them doing really well actually.
Yeah, well, I mean they should be able to do really well. I think anything other than really top 4 would be anything other than top 4 would be a big. I won't say a big failure, but more like a huge disappointment to say. I mean, I know I'm putting pressure on BPS, but that is to be expected. So, so don't blame me for jinxing BPS here. But I think they are looking strong for a top 4 finish, and then Loka as well. Same as what I said about BPS. Also on a really good day, on a really good day, they can have really good strategies, good reactionary moves. I think I said about Loka being very good with counter strats, so I think if they can really master that consistently, also they are going to be a very strong team, very hard team to beat on any day. They just need a really good day, and you can see that win against Angin was very good. Although I didn't stream Loka a lot during this season, but we can watch other streams. Loka it's very dominant as well, so I can't really see Loka struggling to perform this in the professionals tournament. Right, so
yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, obviously, Loka, I think, was it the first previous skill where they didn't make the second day? I think they had that sort of
they had that.
But then, I mean, to come back and finish so highly up, even having not made the first previous skill, and then I think did they lose to Raid in the second one? Was that the one they lost to Raid in?
No, they only lost the first one. They lost to Serenity.
Oh no, yeah, that's it. But I mean, if you're a team that can come back and finish that highly, having not even made one of the final stages, I think that's definitely showing something. And yeah, I've been impressed with what I've seen with them as well.
Chocolate said, asked me to comment on some of the roster changes between some of the top 4 clans. I am not aware of that actually, so if you can tell me what changes have been made, then maybe I can comment on that. I think I'm fairly certain that Spitfires didn't change clans. So I think for now, Serenity, I don't think they will be a lot weaker. Not sure about other clans, but surely it's going to, I don't think there will be that much of a difference, because it's really all about the teamwork rather than individual players. So I expect similar things to happen for the top 4 clans. The second to the 4th place, the Serenity, BPS, and Loka will be very closely matched, and whoever gets into top 2 in the end will be among these 3 teams. But I will not underestimate BPS below Loka here as well, which for the unluckiest reasons, they got 2 top 8 teams. Well, they got a top 8 team, which is BPS in the 3rd place in the group stage quarterfinals, and the other one, they got Raid in the group stage quarterfinals as well. But they won both of them. So, as I said in that video, BPS is a clan that invites pressure rather than getting dominated by pressure. So maybe in the big games where the games matter the most, they will become very, very strong. So potentially this is a clan that I think a lot of people might be sleeping on. And I think they are here to prove their skill this time, for real, in the professionals tournament. And I think on a good day, once again, they can beat BPS and Loka, but they just have to be consistently good, because they have some freak moments in the past few proof of skill tournaments, including losing to A1M102. So consistency would be the thing the first and foremost priority for them. What do you guys think? Right.
Would it
team.
be possible?
Oh,
would you be interested in doing like a side by side of the 2 BPS teams, like with their rosters and their possible performances?
I haven't made that. I don't think there is like the first or second team for the BPS. They are pretty much like separate entity, but under the same clan family. Pretty much similar to Primal and Purple, if that's the right comparison here. They are in the same family, but they are pretty much different clans.
I mean, they both place pretty high from looking at the standings currently.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really interested to see which team would possibly be favored against the other competitors, such as Serenity or Loka. Just simply by the fact of the lineup, the players in the teams, so to speak.
Okay. Oh, on the other hand, Chocolate told us that Loka has lost Playmaker and Vanu to BPS Gravitas. That would inevitably boost BPS chances, but Loka still has really good players as well. I mean, the caller, I'm not sure if he's the caller, but the captain, Foxy, is still there. I think that will cause raise I don't know about him much, but I'm going to raise both of my hands up in the air if I make any wrong statements there. But I believe Loka would not be a lot weaker, losing Playmaker and Vandal. Yeah, Garcia Jones is right there. I think multiple people have said already, there are no first or second teams for BPS. They are pretty much on their own. And they are hella competitive as well between themselves. So if you miss some rivalries, maybe this is the rivalry you should be watching. BPS versus BPS, you know. yeah. So yeah, I would say BPS could surprise us a lot. I won't rule them out of top 4 yet because they could very well make it into top 4, especially when Loka, as Chocolate said, lost some players. Could really be the turning point here. Right, yeah, something. Anyway, okay. Other than that, A1M1. A lot of people have lots of doubts about A1M1. I believe they have very they have really good seeding actually. And they really benefited from that and made the most of that. And but then also they also won some important games, because if they lost to BPS, I think if I go back and go back to my table, if they lost to BPS, yes, if they lost to BPS, I mean they also have to yeah, the fifth proof of skill tournament. I believe, yeah, they will not. Well, I mean, they will lose around 200 cups. That will still put them in top 8 though. But the group stage, they also have done well. I think they have beaten some important clans as well. So, yeah, I think they haven't faced a lot of top 8 teams here actually. So I think this is going to be the moment for them to shine. But realistically, I think there is a gap. There is a gap between A1M1 and pretty much all 7 teams here. But because we haven't seen a lot of their games, we can't say for sure whether the gap is a big one or is non-existent. But A1M1, I do not want to underestimate them. I've streamed them in the first proof of skill tournaments. They have some really good games. I really wish them all the best though, because I think there is a lot to prove. But they told me before, top 8 is really not what they were aiming for at that time. It's more like the top 12. But since they reached top 8, why not go full on and try the absolute best and do whatever they can. I mean, this is a really good opportunity. Although it's not a round robin, but really good opportunity to improve, and they have to take it. Basically, someone asked, where are the players from? Where do the players from A1M1 come from? They are an Arabic clan, and they are players coming from the Middle East and North Africa. I believe they communicate in Arab as well. So yeah. That answers your question. But would I say A1M1 is the weakest team out of the teams in the top 8? Well, I said there is a gap, but I don't know. I think I would be, I don't know. I can't say for certain, but I really hope A1M1 is going to be a lot closer than a lot of us are thinking.
I think they're just yet to prove themselves against the top 8 teams, really.
Yeah.
I don't remember them ever sort of having won a match against any of the top 4, and I think they've definitely won matches against some of the sort of top 16 teams, but
yeah,
I don't think they've really sort of had a chance really yet to sort of show what they can do against maybe sort of Retty and people like that. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see maybe, because
we have to see. We will have to see, really. But I think they're still top 8 worthy, because they have beaten top 16 teams like Reckham. I think they have beaten IW, I'm not sure. I think they have beaten Vale.
They've beaten Vale, I think. I think I've seen that one. But yeah, I mean, well, clearly they're worthy of being there if they're in the top 8, even if they have been sort of... I mean, there's one thing being seeded well, but you still got to win your games to get into top 8 at least. Like, you can't just totally seed your way into top 8 at all. So and I mean, they've still finished 6th as well, which is pretty good. So yeah, I think we'll just have to wait and see what they come up with, really.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it will be. I think it will not do them justice if we just rule them out completely. I think. Yeah, I mean, we know sometimes things happen, especially 2020 Blitzcrank preliminaries, where some clans, their top 8 status are quite questionable. But I believe A1N1 would not be one of them. I hope they will prove me right on this. But going down the list, Reti. They got the top 8 at the last previous skill tournament, and I'm very happy for them because they really have fought really hard on their way here. And I streamed quite a lot of their games actually, and in some games they were very impressive indeed. I mean, some games they really don't deserve to lose, like that first game against Endgame in Alpenstadt, which I believe really the minor mistakes they have made that cost them the game. But really, Reti, I think, is a clan that I think also a lot of people are sleeping on, and I believe they really deserve that spot, in my opinion. Which I think they have a lot to prove. Beating APE will be one of them because 1-2-7-8 in the same group, so at least one of them in the 7th or 8th would not finish in the 7th to 8th place in the professionals tournament. So this game, I think, will be the game to watch. Actually, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it could be quite interesting actually. And yeah, I mean, and as well, you can make a claim for any of them to beat any of the other teams just on a good day. They've all, I think, apart from maybe A1 and one, quite as much as sort of all performed against each other and taken some good victories against each other. So yeah, I think it'll just come down to the day for a lot of these matches.
Yeah, I'll say so, but I think it will make no sense to say that Reti would get trounced in the professionals tournament. I don't think that will happen.
Oh no!
I think they are capable of doing really well. So yeah, I think they have made a good case to be in the top 8, in my opinion.
Oh, certainly. I mean, they've definitely like earned it as well. So yeah, all credit to them for getting there, and we'll just have to wait and see how well they do.
True.
Can be quite interesting, I think.
Yeah, I agree. APA. I think this clan receives a lot of controversy once again. The final previous skill tournament, which I don't think that is something that a lot of people would be happy about. Watching some of the streams, particularly Fujit's ones. Wink, wink. We can. I mean, it's similar to Vale in a way last season, in the winter season, where their first team didn't qualify to the next stage, to the next day, and the other team got them the cups to put them in the top 8, and that happened to APA this season. However, I think APA this season, I don't know, maybe because based on the first previous skill tournament, probably they are stronger than they are in the winter season, I believe. Maybe that's wrong in the last few previous skill tournaments. So I believe I mean they have the experience, they have the players. I'm fairly certain they will once again put up a good fight, as they always do. I know APA will raise a lot of questions about their top 8 status, but I would say APA, they are coming. I think they will prove us wrong on that. And yeah, as I said, against Reti, that would be a very important match for them to win. And really, I think APA, they have what it takes to go against the odds and do well. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, APA, they sort of, I'd say they definitely faded a bit, sort of coming towards the end of the previous skills. But hopefully they can pick themselves back up again. But also the fact, I think with this seeding, they'll be coming up against Endgame first, won't they? That'll be if they can get through that without being too sort of destroyed, and maybe they can sort of save some sort of moral for the next thing. Then I don't know. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I wouldn't really favor them myself, but you never know. This is Blitz. Amaraks happen, and it's always possible that the luck can just go their way. And I mean, if they beat Endgame, that will be a massive, massive boost to their confidence.
Oh
And I
yeah,
could see
obviously.
them like riding that high, sort of maybe quite a bit further as well. But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, besides that APA, yeah, they almost won the first previous skill tournaments. Really, that second game on our pitch start, they should have won it. If not for Serenity's, if really not for Serenity's determination right there, they could have claimed that, and then yeah, they would have finished higher than the 8th place. Obviously, it went down to the final day, however, and they have to beat Raid 2-0. And that was good. I think that was a good game from them. So,
yeah,
maybe we'll see more of that in the top 8. But...
yeah, I mean, they did it when it mattered, and they did get that top 8 spot. So, I guess we'll just have to see from then and from there what they can now pull out the bag.
Very true indeed. We'll see about APA. Don't underestimate them. Always, as always. You don't know what they can offer. You know. So I would never say that they are bad. So I mean, going down the list, we have I mean, some of the clans here. Really nice to see some clans coming into the top 16, the challenges tournament, like Sparta. I'm really happy to see them here. They have some really good games, actually. They've beat some really good clans, and some clans in the top 8 as well, like Reti and also BPS. Especially BPS, that was very impressive, 2-1. I have no idea how they managed to do that. But that is what mattered for them, and that really gave them the place in top 16 in the end. And I really hope they will perform really well in the challenges tournament, but there are stronger clans, in my opinion, in the challenges tournament. Rackham really losing by the last day, and they're strong. I can say most of them are from South. They have experience. They know. They have the experience working together. So, I mean, Rackham. I mean, crew that tell me that it's going to be a very different team for the challenges. It doesn't seem to be the case though, so I think they will have a lot of expectations coming into the challenges tournament. But then we also have Veil, Raid, IW. All 3 of these clans are going to do really well too. Raid, I think they were so unfortunate to be picked against top 8 teams two times. And I think they all went into tiebreakers, so I feel very sorry for them. It should never happen in the first place. The seeding was so awful in those 2 previous skill tournaments, and I think that goes on to show that Wargaming really needs to fix that and include performance-based seeding to really not allow that to happen once again. And I mean, makes little sense. Raid against BPS, and then Raid against Loka in the group stage quarterfinals. Why on earth would that happen in the first place? Just I don't understand. Veil came back really well after that blip against Rackham. And if they did not lose against Rackham, the second team it is, they could have been in the top 8 probably. I don't know. But I think they didn't really fall off from that game. From that probably not a day that they will be happy about. So I think they can really mount a challenge in challenges tournament, and IW as well. they have beaten some good clans here in challenges, and yeah, they look so strong. But I mean, the challenges tournament seeding is very bad. Because what we are seeing, I'm going to the seeding for that is if I can get it. It's at 9, 11, 12, and 15. Forgot. Let me load that information up once again. It is 9 against is 9, 11, 14, 16. So this one you have Rackham Vale, Shadow, and Quick in the same team, and the other team is it's a total massacre. IW Ray, Sparta, and Kraken Esports. They are very good teams. Not to say Shadow and Quick are bad teams though. Quick got this top 16 at the very last day. I think they have really good seeding this season, and they kind of snatch it at the hands of Cash. But I think Zenith really didn't deserve to be in that position though. They were very good this season, and they should have been in the top 16. And Shadow really got blessed by the 100% rooming accounts. They beat some of the important games so that they do not finish outside of top 16. But I think Shadow and Quake would struggle. I'm not sure about Shadow. They have Romeo Jones and Flankeo Jones. These two are really good players. Really depends on where both of them can do really well in that team, and hope they will. But Quake, on the other hand, I think they also got into a bit of controversy as well. I don't know about this team, because equally I think yeah, it seems a bit weird to see them here. But I mean, they have, I don't know about their performance against all the top 16 teams, but yeah, it's just a bit weird to think at the moment. Kraken Esports is a good team. I think they have beaten IW before. Not sure about other teams here, but they are not bad. Shadow, they have beaten some clans here as well. I mean, they have beaten Zenith, fair enough. And yeah, and beaten clans that matters them a lot in terms of getting a lot of cups in the end. But I think Reckon Vale should be the obvious teams to go through to the final stage, and the other group will be the group of death. And I think any clan here could easily get into that into the final two spots. We don't know which two, but I think Ray should be able to get one of them, and the other one is pretty much up for grabs. I don't know what you guys think about the Challengers teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably a definite sort of skill difference between maybe the top 5 Challengers teams, and then I think the others are capable of sort of winning a few games if things go their way, but I can't see Shadow and Quick maybe sort of progressing as much as the other teams. But yeah, I'd say definitely my money's on, say, like Reckham, Vale, Raid. I think as well probably will put up a really good fight in IW. Yeah, I think as well.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, I think there is I agree with you. Skill gap between the 13th place and the 14th place. Kraken Esports will be the one that will bridge the gap a lot, and I think it will depend whether Shadow will improve a lot during the break, which I hope they will, and hopefully they will show us some really good games in the end. But I think they have a lot to prove. Quick as well. I think they will have a very different team, so not sure how well they're going to work together in that team. It's like SYS in the previous in the last winter season, and we all know that that team didn't really do well in the end. So hopefully that will be different for Quake, and it's also a best of 5 series, so we'll see how it's going to go. But it's going to be a grueling Challengers tournament for the E server. I definitely think Sadif should have been there, and maybe if FE407, I think it's one of the clans that were playing in the first 4 Proof of Skill tournaments and they didn't play in the end. It's also probably because they have more than 2 ineligible players, and that's why they stopped playing. But also FE207 is a very strong clan. I think they almost beat Endgame twice. They went into a tiebreaker, so I was a little bit sad not to see them playing in the last 2 Proof of Skill tournaments, because really I think they would have been very competitive in the Challengers tournament, maybe because of that rule, but we'll never know. Yeah. Anything to add? The deal for real is still here.
Yeah, I'm still here. I think the best of 5 will favor Raid. I think Raid and Vale probably have the best chance at having the better, or I should say, the favored matches. Only if they actually want to win it. Like if they play seriously and they want to win and get a second run, so to speak, at the top 8, then yeah, they're going to be contenders. They're going to be hard to beat. But
yeah,
if they lose motivations or they have team breakdown or whatever, that whole bridge the gap teams that you're talking about, well, then there is no more gap to bridge. Then they're just on the level playing field, and so it's going to be the best out of those groups, and like you said, Kraken probably has a really good shot. So yeah, the challengers, like I said, depending on whose heart's in it, it could be we could see some crazy stuff happen there,
Oh yeah, probably. I mean, I played with Vale kind of yesterday. Egochi, he was leading in that one, and I mean he is experienced. You can tell from his leading calling yesterday on footage stream probably, and I was playing there. I mean I think he's good. Yeah, I think that is not the main Vale team that I was playing with, so maybe it doesn't seem to be as strong as I was thinking. But with the main players, I think they can be a challenging team to beat. Maybe because I was in that team and I was driving in the mediums and lights only. I think I didn't drive a heavy tank apart from not really the first game, I think. Yeah, but it's really Vale can be a really strong team. Yes, I agree. I wish the best for Shadow and Quick though. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope that they're going to show us what they are capable of, and hopefully they will go far. So let's move on to the NA server, if there is no more people coming here to talk about the EU server. Right. Okay, moving on to the NA server. Finally. This is a NA server leaderboard here. Only have 19 clans because the 20th placing team didn't qualify to the next stage. Didn't qualify to any of the second day in Proof of Skill tournament, so I excluded that. I mean, EQ qualified to one of them, but didn't play in the last Proof of Skill tournament. I feel very sorry for SLG though. They definitely did not deserve to be out of top 16.
Yeah, definitely not.
But then the last day it was PPS. It's a team they should be able to beat.
Yeah, and I think as Cruel as well just got really unlucky with some of the matchups in the group stages. I think SLG and Cruel. I mean, you saw they went quite far in there. I think as soon as they didn't get a top 4 team in their sort of quarterfinal matches. But yeah, I think they're the sort of the big ones to miss out, and then Surge as well.
No, such I think
were-
is. I think I wouldn't say they deserve to miss out, but they can't even get into the next stage with multiple teams. So
Yeah, they were. I mean, I'm a friend with the clan lead, and I kind of feel not biased towards them, but I feel like they should have done better than maybe they did in the
Yes.
end.
yeah, I agree. They should have done better, especially with the advantage they have put themselves in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last season they were better. This season just should have been.
Yeah.
It should have
But
been
I mean, the whole
higher.
the seeding in NA this season has been pretty
Bad.
incredible. Well, yeah. Let's just say outright, it's been very, very bad, the seeding.
Yeah, the
NA.
seeding
We've
was
seen it.
very, very bad.
And especially I think seeing as because obviously NA is quite a small server, so you just have the potential to match up with sort of top 4 teams and top 16s in the first rounds. Is just when that's happening, it sort of really detracts from the whole sort of scenario because there's so many teams here which could have got into top 8, could have got into top 16, but didn't because of the seeding. I think is the main reason.
And also, NA server has a lot of teams really making use of the 100% win rate count.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
Asia server. There's only like 1 or 2 teams, 2 teams at least. But NA server, I am seeing like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I mean, and not even just that, but I think hard rerolls as well with say like 400 battles but an 80% win rate will be put into teams as well. It's become pretty endemic in in NA, and I think as well it's become more just a sort of like if you can't beat them, join them style thing with the seeding accounts, and that unless you're Rain and Pramo, you don't need them because all your players are going to give you a good seeding anyway. Most teams are using them.
Yeah, I mean, Rain and Primo are like very strong teams. And Jokers as well. I mean, Jokers have very low win rate, but then they've beaten Rain at times and sometimes Primo.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are good enough, you don't need to use that.
Basically.
Jokers show that exactly, and I'm really happy they got into top 8. Although they got a hard, although they have I would say I think both groups here, top 8, are kind of similar. I would say there is a particular group of death here.
No, definitely not.
No, definitely not.
But I'd say, I mean, Jokers, I think, were always going to make top 8, no matter what seeding they got, unless they came up. Because, I mean, you saw it, I think it's Pretty School 1 that they were seeded against Rain first round.
Yeah, they won it.
And then they won it. That was the big sort of shock of the first one. And then Rain obviously sort of kicked into gear and ended up winning overall by just a few cups, the entire thing. But yeah, Jokers are definitely, I'd say they're one of the strongest teams.
True.
I'm
winning the whole
actually
thing.
slightly worried about them as far as I would have liked to see them place a little higher with their cups. Honestly, I was expecting them to, with Rain's poor performance in the beginning, I was expecting Joker to lead the cup board, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I was chatting to Assassin a bit, and he was saying they were going for a good seeding, but I think I think it was they were
They don't need a good seeding. They're good enough to overcome that.
But I think any of the top 5 as well. I'd say top 4 are very, very competitive, and GG is sort of competing at just below, like just a shade below. So yeah, it is very, very close to those top 5, and then Pinsett, MM, and Purple can all take games off the top 5 as well. I'd say
I'm going to talk
on
about
a good day.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the Purple later on because I think this is a team that I think a lot of people are sleeping on. But let's go to Rain. I think them not participating in the winter season, I think that has been a really huge factor into their kind of indifferent performance in the River Skill tournament so far, because it's not as dominant as we saw back in the Blitz NA Cup.
No,
they weren't like winning. They weren't like endgame on an EU server where they just kind of won like every single previous skill tournaments practically. But like Rain was, they from time to time they lost to the top 4 teams, the Primal, Apex, and Jokers. So will Rain still be a dominant team on the NA server this season? I do not think so. But I think if they start picking back up to what they once were, I think they will become again the very dominant team on the NA server. But they just need 1 or 2 seasons of gelling and playing, and I think we might be here to see a very competitive top 4 this season on the NA server.
It also, interestingly, I was going to say, some of the Rain strats have been not sort of odd and maybe bad, but they didn't look like maybe their main strats. So I'm just wondering if they're saving something for the finals.
Correct. And I think it's Jack's wishful thinking here. Jack, you got to remember, dude. They're on the top of the cups.
Yes, true.
Okay, so let's not forget that.
Yeah, I mean, true. Fair enough. You're right about that.
Just go to show what we expect of Raid. That even though they've topped the whole thing, we're still thinking, are they showing their true potential? But yeah, I think if they've maybe been holding a bit back, I mean that's perfectly fine. I mean, save your best strats till the finals, and you don't want to sort of show everything on stream too early, and then people can develop counters to it. So it'll just be interesting to see whether or not they I don't know, because when we played Raid, I think once or twice in the previous skills, and the strats they were using maybe weren't sort of ideal, or rather they weren't the sort of meta things you'd maybe expect from the Rain team, knowing how they play. So I think it'll just be down to sort of what happens next in the finals, and whether they bring out new strats. Better strats, maybe.
I agree with you. I think we haven't seen the best of Rain yet, so I think I will be proven wrong. I will be following any service, so I think Rain will prove me wrong as always. And and that also means end game. You have to be careful.
Definitely.
Well, the guys I actually kind of have my eye on, which I didn't want to have my eye on, but I have to because they're sitting there right now in second place, is Pramo. And, I think Pramo is taking this tournament pretty seriously. Like, I think they want to win, like, pretty bad. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, if you are like second place all the time, you really want to win.
Really tough contenders. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, really tough.
But then, I mean, but also in the previous skill tournaments, I mean, from the results, I'm seeing also it's not as good as the winter season, but also as your set. They might be saving for the professionals tournament. So once again, it could be a totally different story.
No, I think people are also sleeping on Apex a little bit. From what I've seen, they've been very, very strong when they've needed to be, but then they've held back maybe some of their strats. I think when they've sort of once they got that good sort of top 8 pretty secure, I think they didn't sort of cool down a little bit, but they just sort of eased off some of their sort of really, really good strats, I think, for a little bit. I could be totally wrong, but I think people might sleep on Apex a little bit. I could see them actually maybe doing pretty well in this and maybe winning the entire thing. From what I heard is they're pretty strong in there.
Yeah, but I mean, Apex also missed one of the previous skill tournaments, so I think after that they kind of, turn up a notch, turn up their gear, and started performing quite well, actually. So, I think Apex could also do really well. Well, if Rain, Pramo are not doing their best in the previous skill tournaments, which I think they don't have to, then I feel a little bit worried about Jokers here, because because I think because Jokers, they have relatively low win rate seeding, so they have to absolutely be on top of the game every time. So as you all said, that might mean they have to show on the stream that with their strats and their gameplay and so on. Will that become a disadvantage for them coming into professionals tournament?
Yeah.
I think we could see that. So I'm starting to feeling a little bit worried about them. But I'm sure like Assassin is a really good person, really good caller. I'm not sure if he's a caller, but let's assume he is. Then I believe he can do it, absolutely do it. But I think they have to be careful about that. I'm not sure about what you guys think.
Yeah, I mean, it is possible, but then Joker, they're still an extremely good team anyway. And I think for them, it wasn't so much about sort of getting the good seedings, because I think they knew that even if they were seeded, say, sort of they didn't have those sort of buys because of the win rates, they could still win their first round matches pretty easily and then come up against teams. And I mean, they came up against us twice in the previous goals and beat us pretty convincingly both times. I think they beat us in the final stage once or twice. So yeah, they've been looking pretty convincing against us, at least, when they sort of needed to just get through into the sort of final stage and then going on doing well in the final stage as well, I think.
Well,
but yeah,
I think for Jokers to succeed with the teams like Rain and Pramo being and clearly with the cup advantage being favored as the stronger teams, they with like teams like Apex and Joker and stuff. So basically, teams Pramo and Rain, they can't make a mistake, right?
Yep.
They cannot afford to make a mistake, or if they do, they need to be punished for it. And so that is going to be Joker's success, is they need to prepare themselves in such a way to whereas they can capitalize on any mistake, and when Rain or Pramo happen to make a mistake, they're prepared for that, and then they take full advantage of it, to gain better position. And I think that's gonna be their only key to success. Their only formula is to prepare to not make mistakes and to capitalize on, to basically force their teams, their opponents, into making mistakes and capitalize on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see.
I think that's going to be their key to succeeding and being, stronger against, where you're saying they might be questioning their performance and this and that or whatever. They just simply need a better game plan, is what I'm saying. They need to prepare themselves to not make mistakes and to capitalize on anything they're given.
I don't think these teams really will be questioning their performance. Like, I know, like, they're all very professional people. They take it very seriously. Like, I don't think they'll be thinking, "Oh, we're a few cups behind. We're not as good as these teams." And you've seen any of them can beat any of the others. Well, one thing I just really like is the fact that NA isn't just dominated by two teams anymore. That we have competition now, and we're talking about sort of 4 or 5 teams potentially getting to finals, potentially winning the whole thing. I think that's a really good thing that now NA is starting to sort of diversify its.
It's not just the two teams. It's now going to be more competitive than before. I mean, and I think that is huge.
There's always been a strong 4 or 5. It's just that there's always been 1 or 2 teams that are just constantly always stronger. And now, like I said, now those stronger teams, they can't afford to make a mistake because there's going to be teams that are going to be comparable to capitalize on it.
I wouldn't even say now. I mean, thing is, I wouldn't even say anymore there's 2 strong teams at all. I'd say we have 5 really strong teams that are all in contention.
That's exactly
probably 4 top
is,
teams.
Is
it's great.
The teams that are coming into play now are not at a huge disadvantage at all. And if they're given one opportunity to get ahead, that's all they need, and then they're there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm trying to say. If I was in Joker's shoes or whatever, or for Joker, for them to be that dominant team, they just simply have to not make mistakes and capitalize. Like they just need to prepare themselves, like at all times, so to speak, because we've seen with the gameplay, right?
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but in my opinion, Rain can afford to make a mistake because their gameplay, they can turn it around, they can capitalize on it. Their focus fire is great. They're just the way they gel and they play together as a team. It's a huge advantage against the other teams, right? Yeah. And so the other teams need to prepare themselves for that style of gameplay. Like to be better, you just need a good plan. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
But I mean, obviously, Rain have that sort of long-standing history and chemistry and stuff. But it is, I mean, I certainly am of the opinion that any of the top 4 teams can beat any of the others, just dependent on what map it is, what strats they're using, and like any of them, give them an inch and they'll take a mile. So it's just who makes the first mistake, who has the better sort of reactionary gameplay, and yeah, I think it's going to be really competitive, NA, and you can make a case for any of the top 4 winning it, definitely. And I'd say GG also will think that they've got a strong chance as well. I think maybe not as much as maybe last season when they were doing really well, but I'd say definitely GG, because I think GG sort of almost like took over as sort of CPG kind of morphed into GG now.
And,
but they're still strong, very, very strong team.
But let me continue for a moment, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. It is your team after all.
Right. Sorry, but can I say Chip's going to carry Apex? I think, Chip, you need to, directly message me what happened to you. I thought you were kind of like the mainstay on the Impact Primal, and suddenly you're now in Apex. But maybe because like Apex is on the Primal family, or no, I don't think it is, but maybe they are just allies, and then you just transferred to Apex in a way. But yeah, Chip, I have faith in Chip. I think he's going to carry Apex maybe, and probably Rain's not going to come from behind, on my ruins and shut him down near B. I hope that would happen with you on Apex,
man.
but I'm sure you're going to do really well. But I mean, one of the main reasons why it's not just the 2 teams on NA server anymore is, it's as Chip said, the EU players. There are quite a lot of EU players playing in the NA teams this season. I mean, not to say Zerd and F. Chocolate is also in Rain, if I remember correctly, and then also People Devil. I don't know, I forgot which team he is on NA. And then you have someone from North, as always, also known as the KYS Warrior, which is also playing.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in Pincer's team?
I don't know. And then you also have Yori 12, which is playing in, is it Apex or Pincer? I think he's Apex, isn't it? No.
Apex, I think.
Ah.
Or is it Pincer?
Oh,
I could be
Chocolate. Wrong. Oh, Chocolate's not playing. Oh, sad. That's sad. Alexa played Despacito.
But yeah, no, it is nice as well that sort of with these EU players coming across, giving a little bit. The meta on NA has definitely shifted to be a lot more mobile, because I think Winter was very much just the heavy spam IS4s.
No, I think Winter is. I think Winter also see some changes, particularly Pincer.
Towards the end, we were seeing the changes, but now it's so much nicer just to have. I think also just a variety of tanks being used, because you did see just the IS4 spam and the E5 spam was so prevalent in NA. Sort of
IS4 spam, in Blitz NA Cup, which I really don't. Personally, I really don't like to see, but it works.
I mean, well, that's the thing. Like, if machine thought broken, why would you fix it? But I think it's nice now that we're sort of starting to diversify the lineups, and I mean, just from the sort of the gameplay standpoint, it makes it more fun when you're seeing different tanks rolling out, and you just don't. Each game can be a lot more different depending on the lineups, and you're not just seeing IS4s going and brawling for every game that you're streaming.
Very true. I mean, also, any server. What was I trying to say? Yeah, obviously the IS4s, the kind of the issue there, and also yes, I was talking about early in the year that Asia is going to catch up NA server sooner or later, because Asia server was starting to become very active in the community, and also I mean and also more streamers are streaming Asia server and pointing out what they should have done better, and also they have a lot of more streams to refer to, and that means they can improve a lot. Same goes to NA server, but I think NA server, they have the uniqueness with the EU servers, most of them coming to help the NA server. I think this is going to, instead of bridging the gap between NA and Asia, this is going to what's the word for that? That's going to increase the gap between NA and Asia. But that doesn't mean Asia is getting worse and worse. In fact, it's not really the case. It's just NA server getting a lot better this year. probably
I think
they
NA is
might.
moving, closer to EU than and sort of Asia is at the minute just at the same level. But Asia will soon catch up, I'm sure of it.
I think Asia will catch up, and I think the players there, they have really good attitude. They are very hardworking, and I think they will one day become as strong as maybe NA server and the EU server. Currently, the EU players seem to help the NA server a lot more at the moment, from what I'm seeing. So, that's kind of the first-hand experience from the very experienced players of the EU server is going to be the main difference. And and if we continue to talk, GG. I remember a lot of the CPG went to GG now, and then they also have. I think People Devil is now in GG, if I remember correctly. And then, although he's not in that private server, so so I don't know why, but maybe I'll ask again later on. But then I think they broke up with the Joker's guys in winter season. They were in like the same team in GG, but they kind of sort of broke up.
A bit of a split, but
a bit of a split, and also quite a big split. It's not just those guys, but but also Nap's team, which kind of went to Purple now. I believe that is what I'm saying. That we should not underestimate Purple by any chance. But we will talk about later. But GG with I mean, they look okay. It's just I will be happy to be proven wrong. But will they reach the same level as the winter season?
I don't know if they'll maybe
hard.
I mean, with the right maps and right strats. I know, I know a few members of the GG team, but like some of their stuff is really, really good. Others maybe sort of just a little bit more iffy. Obviously, relatively compared to the top teams. But I think if they get good maps that they're really comfortable on, I could see GG easily beating Pramo, Apex, Joker, Givering a shout as well. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, and then Pincer haven't really seen a lot what they have done so far. Let's go to Dadu for real. You can talk about GG.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I haven't watched them as much as I should have to have an honest opinion on them. But I do think that, and I always have thought that they're I think they're overrated. I hate to say that. But I do.
Akishi is coming to find you.
Because I think they get lucky a lot of times with their their brackets or whatever, their opponents. Because if you watch, at least in my opinion, and this is why I think that, and it's not to say they can't work together, they can't get better, and they can't actually have good matches, because they are a solid team, right? I just think that they're somewhat overrated with the likes of like the experience of like Pramo and Rain, or just the raw talent of like Jokers or whatever, right? Like if you look at it, at least in my opinion, matches where it's like a little bit dependent on like cap control, or they have to like defend or do like a counter push. They always have some form of like breakdown, it seems, and it seems to cost them, and it costs them huge. And their gameplay struggles with that. They either become impatient, or they struggle at cap control, or when there's a massive counter push, or they need to do a rotation for a counter push, there's always something there, and they always look a little weaker. And for that's why I think they're a bit overrated, because they struggle with certain matchups, like a map like Canal, for example, I would say would not be their strongest map, and that's the kind of stuff they need to work on, and that's the basis for my opinion. As harsh as it may be, it's just direct. It's just
that's true, but from the guys that I know in GG, that is the thing they are massively working on right now. It's sort of one of the things is sort of if you have the time to play pubs, you have the time to do IS4 brawl practice. Is sort of quite a key thing that they're sort of just talking about and joking about. But I know GG are really putting the work in to try and sort of eliminate those little sort of mistakes that can sometimes just accumulate in games and cost you it in the end. But I think definitely if they can eliminate those mistakes that you're talking about, sort of maybe the slow rotations or maybe just the initial sort of positional awareness or whatever, I think they're real strong contenders as well.
True. I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to ask Aki to give. Before the first NA stream, just give me a place in GG.
Yes.
I haven't left CPG after they kind of broke up. After the GG family kind of broke apart, so I have to kind of do that before the stream. So I can flex on my stream.
Yes.
Yes, but Ratty OP, hopefully, yes. I can't recall who is Ratty, but
Amarat. Yeah, Amarat.
Yeah. Okay, next clan we're going to talk Pincer. Haven't really seen any matches of Pincer though. But I suppose it's going to be something similar to the last season. So I would say it's going to be similar to last season. Maybe they improve on that. I don't know what you guys think about Pincer this season.
I feel like they've underperformed to what they maybe were sort of expecting, but I feel like the strats and things they have are very good, and all their players are obviously sort of very experienced players. Yeah, Exodius and all that crew. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're not getting slept on because they're Pincer. Everyone knows Pincers are, and they have a sort of reputation. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see sort of how they do. And I could see it either swinging one way or the other. Either they really pull it out the bag, get some massive clutches, and end up finishing very well, or they might, or they might sort of slip against the other teams that they're against. But I don't know. We'll just have to see, I think.
Pincer has Spitfires. If you have Spitfires, it's going to be really helpful. Yeah. He is so good that even the leader of Endgame wrote a passage specific for him. So, I think he will be very important for Pincer. I really wish that it does shape up to be a very, very a very hard group to get out of. To get into the top 4. The Apex, Jokers, GG, Pincer. But we'll see. What do you think? Did you worry about Pincer?
I'm kind of out of the loop with Pincer. As I understand it, they're in some form of like a rebuilding stage, possibly, and that's a good thing. But that's kind of exactly what it's showing. Unfortunately, I don't think that they're going to be very strong contenders for the top 4. I think they're going to be kind of right where they are, just on the outside looking in. I think that if they work at building a foundation and they, come together as a team or want to be a stronger team, I think in the future, they can build one of those top 4 teams solid, But
right.
I just think for this current tournament, I think they're exactly as the cup show. Unfortunately, I think that I don't. I mean, never say never, right? But I see them struggling, I guess is a better way to put it.
Well, if we talk about struggling, MM comes to mind.
Wait. I have to say this. So we're gonna start the juicy drama stuff here. I don't care, right? Okay, so check this out. You guys were talking earlier about like the seeding and the 100 win rate account.
Someone's spilling the tea. Yeah.
I don't want to get too far away from that point where that is something that needs to be looked at and changed and whatever. However, though, if there's one team on NA that doesn't make one lick of difference, I believe it's MM. And the reason why is because they have always kind of been a meme for NA. Like they've always had the highest win rates, they've always had like the best accounts, but then when it comes to tournament play, they're underperforming as underperforming can never be.
And if you look at that TP,
but I am not a fan of MM, and I'll make that clear. I'll make that clear to the day I die. MM impresses no one. They never have on NA. They've always been a meme, and I really don't care. I don't even know.
And I don't.
They're
good. They're good players. I wouldn't say they're top players. And I wouldn't say like they're
bro.
bad.
I know sure as hell they ain't gonna make the top 4. I'll guarantee that.
Except the winter season, I think they were better in the winter season, and they actually, if they are in top 8 in winter season, I wouldn't contest that claim because I think they actually deserve that in that winter season. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but if you do look at the sort of cup percentages and all that kind of stuff, I mean, they are sitting like about 10-12% lower than all the other teams in top 8. And yeah. I'm just gonna say it. They were seeded top in 3, 4, or 5 of the previous years, and then second, third, and the other ones. Yeah, they have definitely benefited from the seeding. I'd say that, and you see, I think they lost to people like SVG.
Dude,
who,
I hate
if
to
you
say
want,
it, I
but
hate
if you
to say it at this point, teams like Rival deserve to be in the top 8, not MM.
Yeah, I mean, well, thanks, but well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we were pushing for that, and then I mean, our seeding is pretty much just a reflection of fact. In the last 2 previous schools, we got Joker, which means we didn't make the final stage. But yeah, I mean, you can make a case for sort of us, Void, Cursed. I mean, got sort of shafted a little bit by the seedings and stuff. OG, EC. I'm not gonna say straight. I know it's kind of controversial because obviously DMG is a real top 8 guy, but I wouldn't say straight a top 8. And I know DMG is going to come down hard on me for this, but yeah, their strats are a bit whack, and I think they're only 9th because of the fact that they had a 76% win rate for the last few previous skills and sort of managed to pull out the wins against a few teams like that. But yeah, you can make a case for a lot of the top 16 teams maybe taking the spots of MM, and
including SLG.
I mean, well, if you think SLG are down in 17th, there is no way SLG are a team that should be missing out on challenge. I mean, they came 2nd in challenges in winter, I think, overall, and they lost to Void, who were pretty strong that time, and for them to then fall completely out of top 16, I think that is the big shock. I think that SLG weren't making it. Like, that's the one result in maybe NA that people didn't see coming. Like, you'd have thought SLG would have been vying for top 8 for certain.
Oh yeah, I thought so as well. But I mean, losing to PPS is really the nail in the coffin. They should have won that.
They should. That is the thing, and it is interesting how just on the AU there are a few games it was either PPS. Well, if SLG I think won, then I think PPS and SLG would have gone through, and SVG would have been knocked out. But that was relying on sort of SVG winning their stuff and whatnot. Like, it all came down to that last day, and just the different permutations of who won and who lost.
And SVG came down to the impressive. It's about the seeding as well, because they got EQ in the semi-finals, and SLG they got Pincer. So in that sense, SVG got more cups than SLG. Otherwise, they would be on the same level. I think
if you are talking about top 16, I don't think you can really, just because of the fact that the seeding was so odd in NA, I don't think you can really say that the sort of the ranking in top 16 is really a reflection of the strength of the teams at all. Like, I wouldn't say what you're looking at in the sort of the ranking is how it's going to finish in the previous skill at all.
True, but I mean, Chipotle just roasted MM. I'm so sorry for MM. I haven't really seen any of the MM games, but I from the results in the final stages, they I mean, as a top 8 team, I will be expecting them to consistently beating the teams outside of top 8, and they couldn't really do that actually.
That's the thing.
The only team in the top 8 that really can't beat the challengers team consistently. So they beat some good clans in the top 8 though. That being said, it's not like they never won against the top 8 team during the previous.
I think it's just that they're wildly inconsistent with who they're able to beat at any given moment, and you can't you can't rely on them to beat people. Like, they'll pull off the dubs on some teams that are much better than them, but then they'll go and lose to other teams, and you're thinking like, you shouldn't be losing to like no disrespect to SVG, they're a really good team, but if MM wants to be a sort of a top 8 team, they shouldn't be losing to SVG and that kind of thing. Like, I think they did in which the previous go where SVG had a really good run. But like MM, if they want to be up there, they shouldn't be losing to those kind of teams.
No. And I think they are the team that will struggle the most in the top 8. Because I think Purple.
Purple, now that they've sort of got a few more members.
They got naps now, so they kind of got naps now. So I think they're going to be going to mount a serious challenge here, and I think a lot of people will be sleeping on Purple. Don't forget, naps beat Primal 6-7 on Fire Ruins. So never say never. Primal would not want to underestimate Purple at all. But I mean, they are in the same. Well, I mean, something is at stake right now. So let's not talk about that. But Purple is going to be a serious contender.
Yeah,
they can get into top 4, and I won't rule them
here's
out
to
of the
hoping.
equation.
Yeah, oh definitely. I don't think you can rule Purple out at all. And they only sort of got stronger and stronger throughout the previous skills as well, I'd say.
Yeah, very true indeed. So I really wish they would beat Primal. And I'm not saying Primal's a bad team, but I know Purple. I think they deserve top 8, definitely. Obviously, with the squad they now have, so I expect them to go far, and hopefully they will catch. It will have some upsets here and there. But,
I mean you do love a good underdog story, and hopefully, I mean, in all challenges as well, and professionals. Hopefully, there'll be some fun upsets and interesting games, and I think as long as it's interesting, that's the main thing.
Yeah, talk about challengers. Oh, straight.
Yeah.
I think they didn't. I think they started previous skill tournaments without a 100% win rate account, but then
then they finished it. Yeah, they finished it with the highest win rate seeding, I think, out of every team. Which, like,
they wanted the top 8 so badly.
I mean, clearly, but I know I'm gonna get. I mean, I don't get much hate, but I don't like DMG just personally as a person. But that's not going to cloud my judgment of them at all. I think they're worthy of top 16. I would definitely say they're not worthy of top 8 at all. And I would definitely say they'll their ranking here is definitely a factor of the seeding as opposed to their actual performance level. I'd maybe put them more down at sort of 13th, 14th. Also, some of their strats are just very weird. Very unmeta, unorthodox things that I can't see how they sort of really hold up against teams of a similar standard with more meta ideas.
Let's be honest. I think they're just used to not having a lot of competition, and they're used to just skating by and placing higher. And now that there's competition out there, they're showing where their actual value is.
Well, they've not finished in top 8 4 times in a row now. And there's only so much you can rely on your past glories to sort of get the people into it. And I mean, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how they do in challenges, and if they make a good run of it, then fair play to them. But I don't know, it'll be interesting.
Well, actually, talking to Chipotle, why don't you join this? Well, I mean, you are in my Discord, so why don't you join us for the discussion as we talk about any server? Because I think
to be honest with you,
insight.
I was kind of I was rooting for Straight 8 to edge out MM in the top 8. That was the only reason.
I mean, personally, I'd prefer MM, but personally, less of two evils. But I'm not going to let that cloud my judgment of the team's performance and strength personally. But I don't know. Personally, I'd have loved to have seen EC and OG go through. I think they were teams that were sort of not just slept on.
Hello, Susan.
But
on the other hand, Daddy for real, what do you think about Purple?
I need to look at their roster. I used to kind of keep my eye on them or favor them as a stronger team to do good or whatever. But I'm kind of out of touch with them. I hate to say it. I don't see them making top 4. To be honest with you, I think anybody under MM, they ain't got a shot at the top 4.
Oh, no, I don't think. I think Purple got a shot. I think they have a shot.
I think it depends on the roster.
So. No,
not like
because
grab
they
a
have
few
too
people
much.
from other places.
There's way too much competition, and the likes of
I mean, true,
Joker, Apex, Pramo. I hate to say it, but currently, right now, they're just outclassed. They're outclassed.
Yeah, I mean the skill difference is probably a bit too much, but yeah, I mean, you'd be expecting what Rain, Primo, Apex, Joker, top four, maybe then like going on. I'd say, I'm going to be unorthodox here. I'm going to say it's going to be an Apex Joker final. And I know I might like
Yeah.
be a bit
Oh, I think
interesting,
so.
but yeah, I could see that happening.
Mhm.
As sort of top four and then finalists, so then either of those two winning.
Right. Well, let's talk about the challenges because I think that
Yeah.
not a lot of people are happy about the teams there. And if you look at the 9th, 10th, and 11th, they used 100% win rate accounts.
Yeah.
I mean, equal. I mean, fair enough. EU server, yes. A lot of teams use 100% win rate accounts, and but then any server that problem is kind of serious, and you have actually EC and O and Zero G getting the buys pretty much every single time.
Yeah,
and
I think it's because I think as well because the 100 win rate accounts make such a difference in NA.
Yeah,
escaping top level teams, whereas maybe in EU, I think just with the number of sort of teams that register, it's a lot easier to not get matched up with the top teams sort of straight off the bat.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and for the Asia server, not a lot of top teams and not a lot of teams use 100% root account. And even if you use the 100% root account, you're going to face one of the best teams on the Asia server. So that's a different story. For NA server is kind of stuck between this time. Although that being said, AU server is also not good with the 100% root account. But then,
I mean, look. Yeah.
But then SLG is more of a big shock than Zenith not getting in the top 16, in my opinion.
True.
So
I think SLG and I think people always sleep on Cruel. Cruel are actually a really, really good team, but I think just the last few ones they've just been really, really. I think they've had top 4 teams pretty much first round every previous skill, and when they don't get that, I mean they went pretty much all the way to the finals in group stage, and I think they've been really unfortunate with the seeding, and I'd love to have seen them I'd love to see what Cruel could do in challenges, but unfortunately, obviously, it won't happen this season.
No,
and that is because they don't use the 100 win rate accounts. SLG don't. But yeah.
But SLG they don't, and they have a relatively low win rate. They have to even beat GG 2-1 in order to get into get a chance into the top 16. And that was a good performance. I mean, I thought if they could beat GG, surely they shouldn't have any problem beating BPS, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Maybe they got very nervous.
One interesting thing is that just from a sort of meta point of view, SLG strats are very, very different to like a lot of other NA things. So I think either they'll work really well or they won't work at all. And it's SLG are very sort of aggressive with their strats. Say, for example, on Canal, they'll pretty much go in straight away, whereas a lot of other teams sort of sit back a little bit. And I know obviously Canal meta is moving more towards that aggressive style play, but they were some of the first to sort of do it. I know Normandy, they play really, really aggressive. I think for SLG, it just depends on whether the sort of people are able to counter their strats or not, because I know a few times, because we were scrumming them quite a bit in practices, and sort of sometimes we'd either sort of really, really sort of do well against them, or they'd really do well against us, and it was very sort of map and strat dependent. So they're very interesting to watch.
Yeah, I think it's hard to pick on the contender for a Challengers tournament. I could see Void once again do really well. But though they got really unlucky with their seeding in the quarterfinals, the group stage quarterfinals. Not entirely sure about Cursed, but it seems they are a bit better than Hated. Sorry, Hated.
No, Cursed I think also sort of improved as it went along. Obviously, I mean, I'm gonna say my own clan rival. We're definitely gonna win challenges. That's the aim. Like, I've got to sort of hype ourselves up. But I mean, we stand a realistic chance. We've beaten Void 2-0 and when we played them, so I think anything's like challenges is very tight. with these teams.
But I think in the end, I think it will be Series G because I think they got really close in some of the top 8 teams. Although they use 100% real accounts, which obviously I think some people will not be happy about. But they kind of showed that they can really do really well. I hope Straight is going to do good because
I honestly I feel like the top 4 in challenges I think is going to be EC, OG, Void, us, Rival, and then from that I don't know, but again it could come down to anyone.
I mean the groupings once again is 9, 11, 14, 16, so it's going to be Straight, Series G, Rifle, and SVG.
Yes.
So let's go. I think this is going to be a hard group, and another group would be Eclipse, Cursed, Void, and also PPS. This is going to be also another interesting group. But I think if PPS can beat SLG, maybe they can win the entire thing. Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, I think the problem with PPS is I know like we actually took one of their best players, sort of from last season, and Bush in our team is ex PPS, and so I think he was also sort of a light tank player, and obviously the light tank player is such a key role in NA meta and stuff like that.
Yes.
I think they've suffered a little bit from that, but on a good day, I think PPS can still beat most of these teams if they just play its strats right. And I know they're a team that's got decent enough chemistry. And I think that's the thing, is just any one of these teams can beat any of the others. So
yeah, I think this Challengers is going to be one of the most equal in terms of the teams here.
Yeah,
I don't think there is no standout team apart from, I don't know, there is really no standout team here. But if you compare it to, let's say, well, EU server, you can see like distinct groups of teams which are really good and which would look like to struggle, and Asia there is like one standout team and then the rest being like very, very close. So NA, we don't really see like two groups of clans. I would go far and say SVG might also. I don't know. I haven't watched their games, but
I think on a good day they could do well, but I think they're just a little bit. I mean, I thought they're really good, and I think they are truly like underrated as a team. But I don't know if they're just as consistent enough to win the entire thing. They could do well, but I don't know. And also, I don't know, with a group like Straight, OG, us, and SVG, on like that kind of grouping, I think unfortunately for them, I don't know if that would be like the ideal matchup for them.
Well, if SVG beats Straight, then yeah.
Well, yeah, who knows?
Well, that would be a moment for sure. The 16th placing team on the cup leaderboard beating a 9th placing team on the cup leaderboard.
I can't wait to see what DMG brings out as his strats, because I know he's run triple E50M on some maps, and like it'll be interesting.
Interesting. I mean E50M. E50M is a good brawler, but when it comes to holding, then maybe not tank.
A triple E50M as well is a bit.
The hit points, it's going to be quite low.
He's run the whole Leo on some maps. It's sort of very, very orthodox stuff DMG uses.
Yeah, but it's
stray away from the meta.
Yeah, but it's also always a good thing to have something out of the box. That is something that I think a lot of viewers love to see. So
yeah, definitely.
Fingers crossed, Straight's going to surprise a few.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, just from personally, like, hopefully they don't surprise us and we go through instead of them. But yeah. It'll be interesting.
But SLG really, I really hope they will come back next season stronger than ever, because I am tipping them to be the first team, the first Latin. They are from Brazil, so I think it's considered Latin, if I remember correctly. So I hope they will be the first Latin team in I don't know how many years, because someone told me some Latin team got into top 8 before, but
probably a GP, I think, back
GP G9 GP
a while ago. I think
a while ago.
I might be wrong, but I think
they said they're Latin, so SLG is kind of the. I'm not sure about Eclipse and OG though, Zero G though, because I'm not sure if they are.
OG and
that's
ECX, no, they're not. I don't think.
Yeah.
Just know, judging by the players that I know in them, I don't think they're Spanish speaking.
Yeah, I think the teams I know is SLG and then Gosu is another one,
Yeah.
and I think there is a couple more, but I couldn't remember.
Is SVG? I'm not 100% sure, but they might be.
Right. Yeah, but but yeah, I really want to see SLG in the top 8. I mean, we want to see some representation from that region.
I mean, and hopefully as well, once they sort out the 100 win rate accounts, SLG will get better seeding as well. I mean, that's one thing that just came down to so much in NA was who got seeded where.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is that. Well, when they fix it, it'll be a lot better for everyone, I think, and you'll see a lot more sort of realistic rankings at the end of it, and sort of teams based on merit and performance, as opposed to just like who has the money and the time to sort of get these 100 winner accounts into their team selection.
I thought you just said the W word.
Well,
no, but but then NA server is also a small server. And as I said earlier on in the stream, the small servers, the 100% win rate count isn't necessarily the biggest issue. The more of the issue would be the tournament format, which NA server didn't have one day with only 8 teams. That's great to see. But NA server, there are more than like 8 teams being very competitive for the top 8. So I would say. I hope Wargaming is going to change the tournament format for both NA and Asia, and as well the seeding has to incorporate some sort of performance-based seeding, because NA server seeding is just really crap. On some days, Rain versus Jokies, come on, group stage quarterfinals. It shouldn't happen in the first place. Like, they are deciding the top 12, not the top 4.
Yeah, I know.
That one. And Jokers and Rain currently in top 4, so that shouldn't happen. That's a complete mismatch right there.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's also like, just on a personal note, like we were vying for top 8. I think we were in 10th, 9th at one point, and then we got Jokers like twice in the last previous skills, and that's just sort of knocked us quite way down the leaderboard, because you couldn't get into the second rounds, and you kind of start to think, well, what if the seeding kind of actually reflected it, and none of the sort of top 16 teams got matched up against themselves in those first rounds.
I mean, if it's like, for example, Cursed versus Void in the group stage quarterfinals, that would be an interesting watch. Although that means SLG would not face PPS in the group stage semi-finals, or more of the teams above them.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's at least the top 8 would not face one another in that group stage semi-finals. I know it's going to be a big ask, but hopefully Wargaming is going to at least, to some degree, incorporate the seeding there, the Cups leaderboard. That will help a lot, obviously.
Yeah.
And the deal for you, back to you. What do you think about Challengers tournament for the NA server?
I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm just gonna be brutally honest. I don't see anything exciting there. It's gonna be like, yeah, whatever. But there's actually some good teams. I mean, there might be some good matches, but in the grand scheme of things, the like overall outcome of it is like somewhat irrelevant. But honestly, PPS that should be PP suck, right? They made them change their name or whatever.
They were forced to change because of Wargaming.
Yeah. But I honestly, I'm going for those guys. I mean, they may not have, and like I believe I heard somebody say, they lost some of their talent and whatever, but they may not have all the skill, they may not have all the whatever experience and this and that, but I think that as a team, as a tournament team, are structured, and even Rival can put themselves in this boat recently. They're on the right track. They're making the footsteps, the progress, right? And
And honestly, let's look at the bracket though, because they're there and they're there with like old school teams like Straight Eight, Cursed, Void,
Mm.
and these are previously these are some of the strongest teams in NA, and now they're playing challengers with them. You know what I mean? And they have a good chance to beat them. So I think from a tournament level or from competition level, the challengers is going to be really good, like there's going to be good matches, it's going to be good competition, but unfortunately versus like the top 4 and even the top 8, whatever, but mainly the top 4, it's apples and oranges. That's the problem with the challengers right now in NA.
Right. Oof. So we come to kind of a conclusion at the moment. Yeah, I would say I'm going to be very excited to see what's going to happen on the NA server, but that means I'll have to put up like 5 nights of little sleep. So good luck to me on that, and hopefully I'll follow all the professionals tournament games. Although I don't want to, I won't say like the challenges tournament games are bad, but I really wish I can follow all the way through. And it seems like there are people. I mean, there's quite a lot of competition for the streaming on both NA and Asia. So hopefully, I will be able to follow all. Especially especially Asia server, when I have followed all the previous skill tournaments apart from the last one, which sadly the following day was an exam, which I think I did fine. So I think
it's probably for the best that you didn't do that one.
Yeah. So but EU server seems like it's going to be like all Fujit, me, Eminet, and Eri streaming or following all the way through the championship, the professionals tournament and challenges. Hopefully someone will apply and stream the games, because I think they are very great fun to watch. Any server there is someone streaming the challenges at the very least, so don't worry about that. Hopefully Asia that someone will show up and stream the challenges tournament as well. And as for any server, I will be following. Emilet is going to follow. Fishy is going to follow. Fujit is going. Fujit might follow, unless there are more. Might follow. We will see. But he did say might not follow if. Well, he will decide. Looking at what's going to happen. Papa Rage, it's going to follow. He's going to stream Spanish. I suppose he will follow all the way through to the finals. So hopefully, more great games there. Asia server, there might be a Japanese commentator and a Chinese commentator, but if there is a Chinese commentator, that will be streamed on Bilibili, not on YouTube. So that would be a completely different platform. But then I'll be following. Fujit will follow as well, and Eminet is going to follow Asia server as well. This is the schedule probably you will be expecting. None of us will be following the CIS server though, because especially it's going to clash with EU server's timing there. But Pyroblast, Mythology, and potentially Galaffy is going to follow the games. So, other than that, don't have any more to say. Hopefully, we'll get to go all the way through, and hopefully we'll see some really good games. And in particular, NA Grand Finals. I want that. I want to stream that.
Yes.
I mean, I'm very bummed when I think is it GG using 6 E100s? 100s?
Yes, I think.
I missed that. I really missed that. Although I would have fallen asleep because I was really on the edge of falling asleep while streaming Void versus SLG.
Yeah.
I was really almost falling asleep. I would have, as Winter Fox always wanted me to do, is to have a sleeping stream. Yes, so 34 is going to stream challenges, so good luck
Nice.
to him there. Yeah, so at least can we tell him to follow Asia server as well? That would be brilliant. But I mean, that's probably going to be quite a tough time to adjust. But yes, hopefully all the challenges to them will have some coverage. But other than that, I think it's time for me to say good night to you all, and more videos will come up. I will be uploading the APA's video shortly. So
Nice.
so I'll end the stream right now. Thank you for joining, and